This orphan boy was so unlucky that no one even gave him a name. But soon he would meet a dark knight who raised him to become the Prince of Demons, and eventually, the Demon King. Long ago, the world was divided into two parts. One was the realm of light in the sky, ruled by a celestial white cat. This cat was madly in love with a black cat that lived in the kingdom of darkness on the ground. And this is where the story begins. Before we start the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because it gives us a lot of motivation. Our main protagonist, whose name is never revealed throughout the anime, steps out of his small hut and goes to meet the village elder to get permission for hunting so that he can bring back food for the village. The elder gets excited at the thought of having a good meal after a long time, but deep down, the boy dreams of living in the heavenly kingdom above, where people live without any worries. In contrast, the people of the lower kingdom live in poverty and suffering. Suddenly, a man who had gone hunting rushes back, screaming that dangerous monsters are coming to kill them. Before anyone can fully grasp the situation, the monsters break through the gate and attack the helpless villagers. Chaos erupts in the village, and people grab whatever they can find as weapons. A village woman entrusts the boy with the responsibility of taking the children to a cave outside the village for safety. As the monsters wreak havoc, the boy quickly leads the children away, but along the way, one child trips over a rock and falls, slowing them down. At that moment, a giant centipede monster appears and takes full advantage of the situation to target the children. The boy shifts into full action mode and pulls out his small dagger to fight the monster. However, the monster's skin is so tough that the dagger has no effect. The massive centipede kills several children, leaving the boy with only 2 siblings. Realizing the monster's overwhelming power, the 3 try to escape. When the monster gets dangerously close, one of the siblings decides to sacrifice himself. He tells him to take care of her little sister and flee towards the monster. Ultimately, the boy reaches the cave with the little girl, but the centipede's venom eventually kills her too, leaving the boy utterly devastated. In the next scene, we see the boy carrying the girl's body back to the village at night. However, silence engulfs the village, and as far as his eyes can see, only the corpses of people he once knew are scattered around. Not a single living soul remains. In utter despair, he picks up a tool and begins digging a large grave for all the villagers. Days pass like this, until one day, a mysterious soldier passing by the village notices the boy digging the ground. The soldier introduces himself as Skiers and offers the boy some bread to eat. Skiers tells him that if he keeps digging like this, he'll die pointlessly. He sits beside the boy and asks his name. The boy replies that he doesn't have a name and that Skiers can call him whatever the villagers used to call him. Skiers can choose any name to address him. The boy asks Skiers why the King of Darkness allows such dangerous monsters to roam freely. Skiers responds, "Look, kid, the king has his own matters to deal with, and he isn't interested in small things like people's happiness." The boy resumes digging and tells Skiers to leave him alone, explaining that while this task might seem trivial to Skiers, for him, it's a responsibility he must fulfill to bring peace to the villagers. He says there's no point in pondering the differences between heaven and earth because, in the end, when everyone is buried in the same ground, they all seem equal. Suddenly, Skiers throws his sword toward the boy and says, "Kid, this is a better path than digging graves." The boy picks up the sword and, without hesitation, wields it. He swings it at Skiers, but due to his experience, Skiers easily blocks the boy's attacks. While they fight, Skiers reveals that there was a time when he himself tried to become the King of Darkness but failed. He explains that in this world, only one person has the right to grant life or death, the King of Darkness. During their battle, Skiers makes the boy realize a harsh truth. If he wants to fulfill his dreams and make this land a better place, he must become the King of Darkness himself. No one else's help can change his fate. He must do it on his own. The boy, shouting, declares that he will become the king and will do whatever it takes to achieve it. He attacks Skiers with all his might and manages to disarm him slightly, pushing his sword away. Skiers fall to the ground laughing, which confuses the boy. Skiers says, "I never thought I'd witness such a miracle at the end of my journey." Moments later, Skiers collapses. The boy rushes to his new master's side, worried. Skiers reveals that his life is coming to an end. He urges the boy to take his sword and head to the royal capital, where Skiers has a mansion. He also discloses that he was once part of a noble family, and whoever wields this sword is recognized as the head of that family. Skiers tells the boy to pick up the sword and proclaim himself the Prince of Darkness, the next heir to the Dark King. Skiers mentions a soldier named Bayless, who will surely support the boy if he witnesses his sword fighting skills. He confesses that he has been a hollow man for a long time and that his powers of darkness are fading, which is why he will soon die. Skiers entrusts the boy with the responsibility of changing the world, saying, "This world isn't right, kid, and I'm giving you the duty to fix it." The boy weeps near Skiers, and his tears shine so brightly that even Skiers is astonished. The boy, born in darkness, emitting light through his tears, is entirely unexpected. Before passing, Skiers says, "I trust you," and the boy gains a new purpose, to become the king of darkness and bring happiness to the world. With this resolve, he embarks on his journey. Meanwhile, in the skies above, the Light Kingdom is preparing for a massive attack from the army of darkness. The Queen of Light, Iris, seeks to protect the powerful rune called Progenitor Rune, the most potent among all runes. To counter the darkness, Queen Iris uses powerful magical beams, reducing the strength of the invading monsters. The monsters of darkness desperately seek to obtain this rune, as it is vital for their survival. The bravest soldier, Ephos, fights alongside his comrades to protect his queen and the rune, risking his life in the process. Princess Seema, Queen Iris's sister, uses the rune's power to create a magical shield, offering extra protection to their soldiers. Eventually, the monsters retreat, and Queen Iris returns to her palace. The struggle between light and darkness continues to brew, setting the stage for an epic clash. Theo, the younger brother of Ephos, waits for his brother and Princess Seema to return. Meanwhile, Seema shares her concerns with Fios, expressing her doubts about Queen Iris's hesitation to kill the King of Darkness. She believes that darkness is essential to maintaining balance in the world. However, Fios dismisses her concerns, assuring her that Queen Iris is fully prepared to kill the King of Darkness. On the other side, Queen Iris meets with a priest to discuss their next attack. She decides to train her army even more rigorously in preparation for future battles. Meanwhile, the nameless boy encounters Dark Knight Bayless, who notices Skier's sword in the boy's possession and mistakes him for a thief. Bayless assumes the boy has stolen the sword and decides to attack him to retrieve it. The boy tries to explain that Skiers has passed away, but Bayless misunderstands and believes the boy has killed him. Using his dark spells, Bayless attacks the boy. However, when Bayless realizes that the boy isn't skilled enough to have defeated Skiers in combat, he questions the boy's purpose. The boy reveals that Skiers entrusted him with the responsibility of becoming the next King of Darkness and gave him his sacred sword, declaring him the Prince of Darkness. Realizing the truth, Bayless sheaths his sword and takes the boy to Skier's house. In the Light Kingdom's palace, Princess Seema sees Queen Iris praying before the Progenitor Rune. Jokingly, Seema remarks that Iris looks more like a priest than a queen and asks if the entire Kingdom of Darkness is after the Progenitor Rune. Iris confirms this, explaining that the Dark King selfishly desires the rune, even as his people suffer in the Dark Kingdom. Iris prays that the next King of Darkness will restore balance to the world, as in the ancient times. Suddenly, a knight rushes into the room to inform Queen Iris about an attack on the western capital led by the terrifying demon Baal. Iris immediately orders Seema and Fos to prepare their army. We then see Queen Iris flying in all her grandeur, while Seema uses telepathy to inform the kingdom's people about the dangerous monster attack near the western capital. The knights quickly prepare their defenses to face Baal, whose power instills fear in everyone. Meanwhile, Baal wreaks havoc, destroying everything and killing anyone in his path. He targets hiding places where mages have sought refuge, obliterating them with his overwhelming power. Just as Baal is about to crush the ground forces under his feet, a charismatic and skilled elf leader, Lord Elanshir, arrives to stop him. Leading a squad of mages and soldiers, Elanshir channels the power of spirits to launch an attack on Baal. Though some of their attacks manage to land, they have little effect on the monstrous demon, who fights back against the spirits. Elanshir is shocked by Baal's immense strength and begins strategizing for his next move. However, before he can act, Queen Iris arrives on the battlefield and directly challenges Baal. She charges her sword with the power of the rune and strikes at Baal, but he endures the attack with ease. In retaliation, Baal unleashes a single devastating attack that turns everything to ash. Elsewhere, a squad of mages and soldiers encounters a group of Dark Army deserters who claim they were forced into the war. Dropping their weapons, the deserters collapse in exhaustion. But suddenly, the true power of darkness awakens within them, and they launch a brutal surprise attack on the unsuspecting squad. The war intensifies as both light and darkness collide, with each side unleashing devastating power. Suddenly, more soldiers, influenced by the power of darkness, emerge from the dense jungle and attack the squad. Everyone begins to weaken, and even the queen feels utterly helpless in front of Baal. She tries to summon more power from the rune, but Elanshir reminds her that overburdening the rune could be dangerous. Elanshir lends the queen the support of his spirits. However, Baal, seeing this, becomes disinterested and decides to leave the battle. It is revealed that Baal was attacking the city merely for entertainment, with no other motive. As dawn breaks, the queen surveys her injured soldiers. Sima arrives and explains the details of the attack. Meanwhile, in the Dark Kingdom, other kings and rulers are engaged in conflict. When the King of Darkness returns to his castle, he speaks to Baelus about his dreams. His ambition is to plunge the entire world into darkness. He states that living in harmony with the Light Kingdom is a foolish idea and declares that he will destroy anyone who stands in his way. He then prays for the success of his future heir. When Baelus returns home, our unnamed hero, formerly a simple grave digger, is seen sitting in Baelus's drawing room. This is because Baelus is responsible for mentoring all potential successors of the King of Darkness, including this hero. Baelus explains to him that being able to wield a sword is not enough to become a king. Wisdom is also essential. Baelus tells the boy that speaking poorly is unbecoming of a king and advises him to improve his manner of speech and read books that can teach him how to govern a kingdom. Over time, the boy trains in swordsmanship with Baelus and also takes an interest in studying. He begins helping people with small tasks in his area, slowly growing stronger and more capable. He is eventually given skier's clothes, the same one skiers wore at the boy's age. The story then shifts to another potential candidate for the throne, Lady Goza. She appears in a field with her army, facing 3 monstrous creatures. Lady Goza easily incinerates the creatures with her gaze. As she immerses herself in her work, one surviving beast launches a surprise attack on her, leaving her with no time to react. Just then, our hero arrives and slays the beast with his sword. Lady Goza is so impressed by the hero's handsome appearance that she momentarily faints. After her soldiers bring her back to consciousness, Lady Goza invites the hero to a local bar at night to discuss matters further. That evening, Lady Goza tells the hero about the expectations placed on him. She states that if he works hard, he will be recognized as the true Prince of Darkness. She also mentions a special sword that will be given to him, which he can proudly display around the city. Unbeknownst to them, a red-haired man named Edel is eavesdropping on their conversation. Meanwhile, in the Celestial Palace, Queen Iris investigates the recent attack. She is perplexed to learn about the humans affected by darkness. Iris's thoughts drift to the time before she became queen, when both she and her sister Sima were equally worthy of the throne. However, there was no jealousy between them, as they had promised that whichever one was chosen, the other would not resent the decision. One day, the queen summoned both sisters for a test but did not make any immediate decision. Later, Sima spoke about the responsibilities of being a queen and invited Iris for dinner, mentioning that their friend Fuiz was eager to meet her. Iris accepted the invitation and said she was also excited to meet Fuiz since it had been a long time. That night, after dinner, Fuiz offered to walk Iris home. On the way, Iris asked him if he thought she would make a good queen. Fuiz didn't give a direct answer but promised that whoever became queen, he would remain as loyal as a sword. The next day, Iris, filled with doubts, gazed into the distant sky when suddenly, a dark, malevolent force appeared before her. With no guards around, Iris sought a bit of power from the progenitor rune. Using this power, she managed to defeat the dark entity, which boosted her self-confidence. Suddenly, the progenitor rune began speaking to her and declared her the true successor to the throne. Hearing this, Iris vowed to become an extraordinary queen and fulfill all her duties, no matter how many sacrifices she had to make. She resolved to do everything necessary to restore the balance between light and dark in the world. In the present, in the Dark Kingdom, our hero is preparing for a competition. Before leaving, he asks Baelus if he will attend the tournament, but Baelus declines, saying he has kingly duties to attend to. However, Baelus expresses full confidence in the hero, believing that a member of the skier's family will surely win the competition. The hero thanks Baelus and heads to the tournament. Shortly afterward, he arrives at a coliseum where all the candidates vying to become the King of Darkness are set to battle each other. In the arena, Lady Goza explains the tournament rules. Participants must defeat the most evil creatures and survive to advance to the next round. She also announces that the winner will receive a legendary sword called the Great Sword of Black, which only the future king can wield. The tournament begins, and the young competitors face one dangerous beast after another, easily defeating them. However, one contestant is unable to defeat a monster charging toward him. While the others watch and enjoy the moment, our unnamed hero jumps into action and saves the contestant. This angers the other contestants, who warn him not to interfere as they want the competition to remain challenging. The organizers then release a Cyclops onto the battlefield. Many contestants are killed by the Cyclops, but our hero, utilizing all the skills he learned from Bayless, manages to slay the Cyclops with ease. Thus, the first round of the tournament ends, leaving only two contestants, our hero and Edel, the red-haired man who had been eavesdropping on their earlier conversation. It is revealed that Edel is a tough and worthy candidate for the throne. Before the final battle, the two finalists rest and talk. During their conversation, Edel mocks the hero for helping another contestant in the first round. Edel views this as a sign of weakness and says that a future Dark King should neither pity nor show mercy to anyone. However, our hero disagrees, believing that protecting others is the most important duty, no matter the circumstances. After sharing their opposing views, they prepare for the final battle. In a tough struggle, the unnamed hero uses all his skills to disarm Edel, sending his sword flying and cornering him. But when the opportunity arises to deliver the final blow, he chooses not to. Eden is stunned and asks why the hero isn't killing him. The hero explains that he won't go against his promise, which is to bring peace to the world and help everyone as the Dark King. Frustrated by this idealistic dream, Eden tries to pick up his sword again, but the hero swiftly puts him in another disadvantageous position. Finally, Eden concedes defeat, and the fight comes to an end. As the battle concludes, Lady Goza declares the unnamed boy as the rightful Dark Prince and successor to the throne. During the award ceremony, the boy receives his prize, the legendary Black Sword. Eden introduces himself to the boy and urges him to hold onto his beliefs. Later, Vance meets the boy and congratulates him on winning the tournament. He assigns him a special mission, one that only the Dark Prince can undertake. The mission is to deliver a message to the Queen of the Light Kingdom. The hero accepts the task, knowing he won't go alone. Eden, the second most important candidate, agrees to accompany him. The next day, Eden and the unnamed boy set off for the Light Kingdom on a magical vehicle. Along the way, Eden reminds him of the ongoing war between the Light and Dark Kingdoms, emphasizing that delivering the message won't be easy. If their luck runs out, they might be the first ones killed due to their origins. Eden decides to take on the riskier role of acting as a public messenger to ensure the hero's safety. Eden surprises Goza with his sudden friendly behavior. After a few hours of travel, they reach their destination and encounter General Fios. Initially, Fios greets them with hostility, prompting the hero to reveal his sword. However, Eden uses his wit to defuse the situation and apologizes for the misunderstanding during their first meeting. Once tensions ease, Eden requests Fios to take them to the Queen, explaining that they carry an important message from the King of Darkness. Despite his suspicions, Fios agrees to escort them to the palace. Shortly after, the hero meets Queen Iris for the first time and is immediately captivated by her beauty. During the meeting, Eden, acting as the Dark King's bodyguard, discusses the letter. The Dark King proposes a contract to unite against Baal, an embodiment of destruction wreaking havoc in both the Light and Dark Kingdoms. Iris is unsure about the contract, given the Dark King's reputation for betrayal. She fears that once Baal is defeated, the Dark King might turn aggressive toward the Light Kingdom. However, the unnamed boy reassures her that the next Dark King won't be so reckless. Eden adds that the current king is planning to abdicate soon, and his successor is unlikely to be as unfriendly. After considering all the information, Iris decides to think over her decision. The next day, Fios escorts Eden and the hero to the guest rooms. The hero asks Fios about Queen Iris, but Fios immediately silences him, expressing his hatred for people from the Dark Kingdom. Before leaving, Fios reminds them that they are enemies of the light. After Fios leaves, Eden warns the hero to remain cautious. Eden feels that they've faced discrimination since entering the Light Kingdom, but the hero points out that Queen Iris is different and not like the others. This gives Eden hope that the Queen might rule in their favor. The next day, Eden and the hero attend the Queen's hearing to learn her decision. Before delivering her verdict, Iris asks the hero a surprising question, shocking Eden. She inquires about the opinions of the Dark Kingdom's people on the contract. The hero responds that even the people of the Dark Kingdom don't wish to die at Baal's hands, and he believes the contract could save lives in both kingdoms. Hearing this, Iris decides to support the Dark Kingdom in defeating Baal for the benefit of both their people. The following day, Iris departs for the Dark Kingdom to finalize the contract. Back at the Light Kingdom Palace, Ephes informs Seema about the Queen's departure. Ephes also reveals that Eden and the unnamed boy are being detained for questioning during the Queen's absence. Seema worries that this might give them a chance to attack the kingdom, but Ephes assures her that he will handle the palace's security. Ephes even mentions that he believes Eden and the hero might be trustworthy and worth befriending. Meanwhile, in the Dark Kingdom, the Dark King's army prepares for battle against Baal. As usual, Vance and Goza lead the army. Suddenly, Baal appears and begins wreaking havoc. Vance leads his troops, but Baal crushes his soldiers as if they were nothing. Witnessing Baal's overwhelming power, Vance is left in awe, while Baal mocks their weakness. Goza attacks Baal with her rock magic, creating a powerful arrow, but it has no effect on him. The Dark Army fights with all its might but is defeated. In the end, only Vance and Goza remain standing, the last hope of their people. Goza attempts another blast while Vance calls upon his swords. They both fight with full power, but their efforts are futile against Baal. Baal lets out a deafening roar, immobilizing Vance and Goza, putting their lives in danger. Suddenly, the Dark King himself intervenes, shielding his warriors from harm. Now, the Dark King faces Baal directly, confident that he will not let Baal survive. The king launches relentless attacks on Baal, but Baal easily counters them. The Dark King taunts that he isn't worthy of his grand title. Meanwhile, Queen Iris uses the Progenitor Rune's magical powers to bind Baal. Seeing this, the Dark King gets an opportunity and seals Baal permanently in a volcano called Tartarus. After the catastrophic defeat, it becomes clear that Baal is no longer a threat. Iris realizes she is standing before the Dark King, and after fulfilling her promise, she leaves to return to her kingdom. Back at the Light Kingdom, Seema meets Adel and the Nameless Boy. Adel flirts with her, but Seema pays him no attention. Seema asks about the Dark Kingdom's people, and Adel explains that while most of them don't want war, anyone who opposes the Dark King is killed, turning their kingdom into a sort of prison. Suddenly, the Nameless Boy notices something and runs off, surprising everyone. Outside, Seema notices Queen Iris returning to the kingdom, exhausted. The Nameless Boy reaches her just in time to catch her as she is about to collapse. Just before losing consciousness, Iris mentions that she has fulfilled the terms of the contract. Seema and another official, Yaz, quickly take Iris to the palace for care, while Adel and the Nameless Boy return to their guest room. Inside the palace, Seema uses her magic to heal Iris. She explains that Iris had willingly become a conduit for the Progenitor Rune's immense power, which exhausted her. Meanwhile, in the guest room, Adel reveals he has a massive crush on Seema. He also notes that the Nameless Boy has feelings for Queen Iris. The boy, irritated, questions why Adel is bringing this up when Iris is still unwell. At this point, FaZe enters their room and informs them of Baal's defeat. With their mission complete, Adel decides it's time for them to return to the Dark Kingdom. Meanwhile, Garza, another warrior, is on her way home to rest after the grueling battle but encounters Velis, who gives her a message to deliver to the Light Kingdom. Despite her fatigue, Garza accepts the task, partly because she has a crush on the Prince of Darkness. Back at the Light Kingdom Palace, Adel and the Nameless Boy meet Queen Iris, who has recovered. Adel thanks her for helping defeat Baal and mentions that he plans to suggest to the Dark King that they cease hostilities with the Light Kingdom. FaZe warns him that such a proposal could cost him his life, but Adel insists that someone needs to voice the concerns of those in the Dark Kingdom who oppose war. Later, a guard informs Queen Iris about the damage caused by Baal's attacks, which still needs repairing. Iris agrees to this request and decides to host Adel, the Nameless Boy, and Garza as guests in the palace. She also plans to show them around the Light Kingdom. During their tour, they meet Theo, who initially feels uneasy, assuming they are enemies from the Dark Kingdom. However, upon learning they are friendly, Theo relaxes. Theo, who is healing injured creatures called Star Tanukis, reveals he learned healing magic from Seema. Garza observes how gentle the Star Tanukis of the Light Kingdom are compared to their mischievous counterparts in the Dark Kingdom. This sparks playful banter about the cultural differences between the two kingdoms, leading to shared laughter. Garza suggests they exchange outfits, which Seema supports. FaZe and Adel swap clothes first. FaZe, wearing Adel's form-fitting outfit, looks even more impressive with his well-toned physique, earning compliments. Adel, on the other hand, is less enthusiastic about wearing the Light Kingdom's armor. Garza decides to swap dresses with Iris, but Seema advises against it, as a Dark Kingdom messenger can't wear a queen's attire. Eventually, Iris wears Garza's dress, which feels a bit loose on her. Later, during a shared dinner, Seema cooks, and Garza presents some spicy dishes from the Dark Kingdom. Adel finds the Light Kingdom's food bland, and others agree it could use more spice. Mixing the two cuisines results in a surprisingly perfect blend, symbolizing unity between the kingdoms. That night, Garza, wandering the palace halls, overhears the nameless boy expressing his feelings about Queen Iris. She reassures him that he, too, is just an ordinary human like Iris and promises to support him as the future Dark King. Grateful for her loyalty, the nameless boy feels lucky to have her by his side. Thus, the first part of this story concludes. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for the next exciting recap.